is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Well, the Tigers not only battling the Indians tonight, but the elements as well. Rain was falling, but it has cleared away. The Tigers find themselves in the middle of a pennant race, trailing Baltimore by 1 game in the wild card. Welcome to Comerica. It is Game 3, Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pebble alongside Kirk Gibson. Glad to have you with us here for Game 3 in the series. And lo and behold, the playoffs are so fluid, Gibby. Everybody freaks out. Everybody feels good. We're starting to feel good now. Tigers just 1 game back.
Are you feeling better tonight?
A lot better.
I mean, it happens to everybody. Everybody's watching. We're up here in the booth yesterday. Had a little edge on ourselves. The clubhouse is the same way. But instead of 2 games back, we're at 1 game back tonight. We feel a heck of a lot better. Although Seattle has won, so it puts a little more pressure on you. But there will be some scoreboard watching again tonight.
All right, Tigers will try and take care of business here. Michael Fulmer taking the mound for the Tigers here, Gibby. And he's been good this year. The innings starting to pile up a little bit, though.
Well, and he's going for Rookie of the Year, plus trying to win this game tonight. He's throwing great first in wins, ERA, whip, opponent's average against. You talked about that innings deal. They haven't been talking about that much lately because the Tigers have been in great need for that. If he gets 6 1/3 innings and less than 3 runs a night, he might qualify for the ERA title as well. But he's just happy to be on the mound. He's a young kid. He's not thinking about how many innings he's going tonight. He's just thinking about winning a ball game for his teammates tonight.
All right, how about Nick Castellanos? He came back last night. I think he arrived in the middle of the ball game. He convinced Brad Ausmus, let me pinch hit. He pinch hit doubles in the final inning of the ball game last night. Good to see him back.
Yeah, Nick says, hey, I want to pinch hit. Brad says, we're trying to win tonight. Kind of get a little humor right off the bat. The offense has been great, but you add Nick, it makes it much lengthier. He missed 46 games, and during that time, no home runs from the third baseman who had filled in for him, so they're going to be excited to have him back. I was down in an instructional ball last week, and I watched Nick a week ago, and he thought he was ready. We could clearly see he was not ready, but then he's chomping at the bit, and now you're going to see him tonight. We know he's got good offensive numbers, and he's swinging the bat good. Last night he initially having trouble with the breaking balls. Then he got on one, and he got a double. And defensively, too, what great improvement. Nick Castellanos, he goes to his left, he goes to his right. He's learned how to throw the ball over to the bag so Mickey can pick it as well. Just all around has really had a great year improvement. You know, I was talking to him about when he was a youngster and how he was coming. He says he wished he would have did more defense because he was always thinking about hitting. And now since he's been in the bigs and he's working on his defense, he's getting much better. So good to have him back in the lineup. Tigers are looking forward to another win tonight.
And after a short break, back to the Call Sam Studios in Mickey York. Coming up tonight, Michael Fulmer trying to continue his bid to win the Rookie of the Year. Tonight here in downtown Detroit, Tigers and Indians go at it here in Game 3 in this series, and the Tigers tonight will start right-hander Michael Fulmer. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Let's play in the rain. 26 start for the Tigers this year. His record is 11-7. The Tigers are 18-7 in his starts. He owes Cleveland only 1-2 so far. Change is going to be good for him tonight. It's going to be big. He's going to have to take care of that run game too. Indians like to run. They're going to try and put some pressure on him. Lots of throws to first base to deter them from doing so.
Here is the lineup that he will face tonight, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. And for the Indians, back to their A team. Rajai Davis leads off in left field. Kipnis and then Lindor at the top. Santana, he's batting cleanup. Ramirez, Chisenhall, Crisp, Naquin, and Roberto Perez rounding it out. And one final score already in the American League of note. The Seattle Mariners all over Houston 12-4.
So they're a half behind the Tigers as we enter the game.
And we'll see how the Tigers do here tonight as they continue their quest to get to the postseason. Rajai Davis will get things started here for the Indians. And the first pitch of the ball game is a strike called on Davis. 253 batting average, 12 home runs for the former Tiger. And he also leads the American League in stolen bases. In there, a strike called as Hunter Wendelstedt goes up with the right hand, 0-2. Don't normally start a game in a light rain, but the Tigers and Indians are doing so here tonight because of the implications. There is more rain scheduled for tomorrow, and they need to get these games in. Now the 0-2. Davis swings and strikes out, one gone.
Michael Fulmer going to business real quick, real early against Rajai Davis. Got his call on the second strike, but this is a good curveball right here. Straight down in the zone. Rajai plays through. Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. Jay up and left. Maben and JD across the outfield. Nick Castellanos with his first start in 46 games at third base. Iggy and Kinsler up the middle. Of course, Miggy's at first base, and James McCann behind the dish again tonight, catching Michael Fulmer.
Meanwhile, Fulmer has come out throwing strikes as he gets ahead of Jason Kipnis. 274 for the Indians second baseman. Had a double in the opener, 1 for 5. And he'll back out of there, 1 ball, 1 strike. Kipnis, like most of the regulars, did not play last night. Really, the only regular that did was Santana.
And he's playing first base tonight.
Up and in, 2-1. Fulmer's last start was a dandy, 9 strikeouts in a win over KC earlier on this homestand. That'll dart low and away, and the count goes 3-1 on Kipnis. Waiting on deck, Francisco Lindor. High ball 4, and it's a 1-out base runner for the Indians. Here are the field conditions tonight, presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. As you might expect, a little bit wet here this evening. 60 degrees our game time temp.
It's early dry. It's going to get wet though. That was 2 words. I'm sorry.
You're going with the cursive tonight. Very nice.
We had to get it in quick.
Oh, I got you.
Guys are going quick.
Here is Francisco Lindor. The diamond dry spread all over the field, so right now it's in pretty good shape. If the rain continues to fall tonight, we'll continue to monitor it. There's a strike called. Lindor is in the middle of a tough stretch. He is 0 for his last 27. However, he had a couple of pretty good at-bats in the opener, a walk, a sack. One of the top rookies in the American League last year, following it up with a good season again this year. A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Menards brings you the big money encounter, and we talked about the tough stretch for Lindor. Here are some of the numbers.
0 for 25. Let's keep it intact. Only 2 RBI over that span, as well as 3 runs on base percentage. 6 strikeouts to. Not a very good ratio of strikeouts to walks as well, but you get in streaks like this, gets into your head, it gets into your noggin. We call that squash patrol. Got to get the melon healthy.
Squash Patrol.
Yeah, that's it. Your brains.
I've been doing games for 30 years and I've never heard Squash Patrol. Thank you.
I learned that in the Tigers locker room from somebody in there, by the way.
Nice. Here's the 1-1. Nice pitch. 1-2 now on Lindor.
Because you maybe hit 4 out of 10 bullets. There should be hits, but somebody made a good play on you. You hit it right at a guy, and then you start analyzing, what am I doing wrong? Just because you're getting no hits, you're only thinking about the result, not the approach. Then it turns into something a little more, and let's hope for Mr. Lindor that he doesn't figure it out here for the rest of the series.
Now Fulmer with the 1-2 swing and a miss. He had him reaching. 2 gone. Second strikeout now for Fulmer.
You see the changeup, see the grip coming out. Looks like it's going to be down the middle, and it's fading fast. Lindor swings and misses. That's 2 down. Strikeout, walk, and now another strikeout.
Of course, the ERA is something that Mr. Fulmer is shooting for as well. The ERA leader is coming in. And you see how many innings Fulmer needs now to qualify. So he's trying to get to that point in this game tonight. Here is Santana. How big is that changeup going to be tonight, Gibby, especially against these left-handers they're running up there?
I think it's going to be key, and he's also going to try and throw that fastball up at the top of the zone, much like Justin Verlander has been doing all year. I think a lot of these guys, the younger guys, learn from the veteran players that lead in front of them. I know that Nick Castellanos has talked about watching Miggy and Victor hit. And Fulmer talks about watching JV and hearing his comments.
Big swing there.
Change up.
1 ball, 1 strike on Santana. 34 home runs this year for Santana. That's a career high. Indians won the opener to clinch the Central Division. The Tigers pounded Cleveland last night. Here's the 1-1.
Coming out throwing a lot of secondary pitches here in the first inning. Usually pitchers come out and like to establish that fastball, but it works if you do it in inverse as well.
Ramirez waiting on deck. Really the only starter not in the lineup tonight for the Indians, Mike Napoli.
Well, we're talking about the Rookie of the Year a little bit. The front runners, of course, we've got Michael Fulmer at 2.95 ERA. We got him as the winner. Tyler Naquin, center fielder for the Indians, also in the mix. Nomar Mazara, he had a tough outing, didn't he, his last outing? Gary Sanchez, this guy's coming out of nowhere. 49 games, 20 home runs. But I just think Michael's done it all year. I mean, he's got.
Oh, he threw it away. He might get to third base here. He is on his way to third, and they're going to stop in there as Kipnis moves up 2 bases. There'll be an error on the throw by Fulmer.
Mickey had one of those last night and wore it off the kneecap. No, he kind of threw a changeup over there. It looked like he was going to throw it hard, and then it looks like he tried to slow his arm down and pulled it. That's a lonely run going after that ball.
Yeah, it took a while for the Tigers to corral it. And in the meantime, they got Kipnis to third now, and Santana will try and score him here with 2 outs. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2-2. Well, you were talking about the fact that Fulmer has been here all season long. Sanchez has not. It's hard to ignore 20 home runs for Sanchez in the short amount of time he's been here, but I would tend to think you would look at a guy that's been here all season long.
Well, what's the criteria? What are the rules?
That ball belted in the air to deep right field. That thing is up, and it's going to go off the wall. 1 run will score. Santana will go to second, and pulled in with a 2-out RBI double.
I think he threw him another changeup there, and Santana saw it and waited back, maybe sitting on that pitch a little bit. And the ball was up. Look at him. It is a changeup. Santana puts the foot down, keeps the hands back, just keeps on it, stays on it. He crushed it. So a 2-out double. Scores 1. Tigers trail 1-0.
And fortunately, that ball wasn't pulled. Otherwise, it would have left the ballpark. Here is Jose Ramirez now batting with 2 outs and a run in. This is where Ramirez has made his money this year. .360 with runners in scoring position. One of the top marks in the American League. Overall, .313 this year. That's in there. A strike called on Ramirez. .75 driven innings numbers this year, well above the numbers he posted last year. A true breakout season for Ramirez.
One of the challenges when you have a player that has a breakout year, when you're trying to factor in for next year, do you assume he's going to have an equal year, or do you assume he's going to fall off, or is he going to get better? Because in general you say, oh man, he's going to do this every year, but you'll find that that is not the case. So he's having a great year for him, no question about it, but there'll be some conversation as they move forward.
0-1 on Ramirez. That'll miss low, and the count goes 1 ball, 1 strike. Here is an update from Toronto at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays have gotten on the board in the bottom of the first. Orioles have committed 2 errors already.
That's Tillman against Liriano.
Slow ground ball and a broken bat hit to second, and Kinsler throws him out. They'll settle for 1 run on a double by Santana. Nothing lead in this game. Here come the Tigers now in the bottom of the first. Kinsler will get it started. The Tigers lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Kinsler, Maben, Cabrera, your top 3. You got Vimart, JD Martinez, Justin Upton in the middle, and Nick Castellanos back in there. That's good news. Getting the start at third, then McCann and Iglesias, and they are facing the right-handed offerings of Zach McAllister.
Well, let's look at Zach. This is going to be a pen game. I mean, his longest outing this year is 2 innings, so he's not going to be around too long. And he likes his heater. He's at 80% fastballs, right around 94. He's not going to try and trick you. Not very consistent with his curveball, so it's going to be pretty much fastballs located. Not going to be tricking you. Want to make sure you get it down in the zone, something you can put the barrel on.
28 years old out of Peoria, Illinois is Zach McAllister, and here is Kinsler to get it started. Big series for Ian. He is 5 for 8 already. And in fact, Kinsler has 5 consecutive multi-hit games. You talk about getting it done at the top.
Since he's come back from that concussion, it's been pretty good, huh?
He really has, and you wonder how guys will respond from that. He had a couple of days off, but it didn't matter. I mean, since coming back, he's done nothing but hit, get on base, and score runs. Yeah,
he was telling me when he had that concussion, he didn't feel anything initially. They got on the plane that night, and he fell asleep, which he never sleeps on the plane. And then, you have to go through the protocol to get cleared to play. Took him a couple days, but since then he's felt no effects.
Here are the homestand numbers. A cool .619 batting average.
13 for 21.
Just missed a little bit outside. 2-2 on Ian.
Think he's seeing the ball good.
That was a good take there. Close pitch.
I was talking to him today, and he gave me that bat he's got in his hand right now. That is one of those war sticks, and very well balanced. Felt like I could hit with it.
The 2-2 got him. Strike 3. Caught him looking. That was about the same spot as the previous pitch.
Let's take a look at the Indians starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Across the outfield, Davis, Naquin, and Chisenhall. Jose Ramirez at third, Francisco Lindor at short with Jason Kipnis at second, Carlos Santana at first tonight, Roberto Perez, who had a big night 2 nights ago against the Tigers, is catching, Zach McAllister.
There's Cameron Maybin. .322 this year for Maybin. Ball missing outside to Cam. 1 for 8 in the series. McAllister's only other start was back in July, and that was a 1-inning affair. So the bullpen on high alert today for the Indians. They'll be going through quite a few guys in this game. Trevor Bauer was scheduled to start. The Indians have suffered a lot of injuries to the rotation. Big time frontline guys: Carrasco, Salazar, Kluber. Swing and a miss.
Now Terry Francona, we talked about it being a bullpen day. The inning here, 2 innings there. He's got like 2 sets of pitchers down there in the bullpen. They've got many of them. Depending on what the game dictates, they'll determine who he uses. 12 pitchers in the bullpen alone right now on the Indians roster.
Which again brings us to the conversation this time that we have every single season about September call-ups, and should you be able to have that many on your roster for a given game. 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 3-2.
McAllister being sneaky. Well, you know, it depends what you think about. You know, heard a lot of complaints. Yeah, I think baseball plays a lot of spring training games. The season is very long, and so is the postseason. So I think by using the extra players, it gives you a chance to let them recover a bit, play deep at full speed into the postseason. Well, we're talking about the Orioles and the Blue Jays, who we're chasing. Tillman is 16-6. You see the remaining games, 1 more at Toronto, 3 versus the Yankees. Blue Jays got Francisco Liriano. They got Baltimore tonight, and then 3 at Boston. So they've both got tough schedules.
In the air to right field, cruising over is Chisenhall. 2 up, 2 down.
Of all the guys Toronto has in the driver's seat, of course, we want Toronto to win again tonight. We
do, and the Orioles, I think, probably feel they better win tonight. They've got their ace on the mound, and Tillman. But Rogers Center, and especially against that lineup the Blue Jays will roll out there, a very difficult team to beat.
It's very loud in the Rogers Center, and the other thing is these two teams do not care for each other very much. Got a couple scrums.
Cabrera backs out of there, 1-0.
Yankees as well. Did the Blue Jays just go through the Yankees?
They did. They emptied the benches as well against the Yanks. Here's the 1-0.
Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Window in the second inning yesterday. Miggy up in the bushes. That's a bomb right there, and of course the Tigers went on to win 12-0.
Just vintage Miggy when he hits him dead center field beyond the 420 marker.
Like to see another. Just amazing how he hits home runs to center field and right field. You know, back in the day, I guess most home runs were hit on the pull side. It's not that way anymore. These guys are bigger, stronger. Bats must be better, the balls must be harder, but they do a heck of a job.
The other thing that amazes me about Cabrera's swing is anything but max effort. You see some big power hitters get up there and they've got a max effort swing. Cabrera's is just so smooth.
His is just a direct swing. He puts the barrel on the ball. He's not an overswinger.
Here's the 1-2. Drill to center field. Ball hit well. Naquin going back. He looks up off the top of the wall. Miggy is on his way to second. Here's the throw, and he's out. Oh, Cabrera nearly hit one out to right center. And he's thrown out at second base, and we'll see if the Tigers want a challenge here. Boy, did he clock that thing, and it got quickly to Naquin, which allowed him to get it back in fast.
Yeah, we're going to take a look here. I don't know. When you hit a ball like that, sometimes you tend to watch it because you think it may be gone, and you maybe don't run quite as hard. But let's see what happens on the slide here. I don't think they're going to challenge it.
Nope, Tigers will not challenge, so Mickey gets a single thrown out at second. Indians on top 1-0 as we go to the top of the second, and Lonnie Chisenhall leading it off for the Indians. 1 run on 1 hit. The RBI double by Santana in the first gave the Tribe the lead. Chisenhall, the right fielder, 56 RBIs. Looks at a ball outside, 2-0.
Looks like Fulmer's missed several pitches to his arm side tonight early. Be something to watch.
Golf to the air, foul out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Chisenhall is 0 for 5 in the series. Did not play in the ball game last night. Fulmer threw 21 pitches in that first. Here's the 2-1. Pulled foul. He'll be followed by Crisp and then Naquin here in the second. Indians have 6, 7, 8 in their lineup. Tribe coming in with 91 wins on the year. The Tigers 84 victories. The foul back out of play. 2-2 the count remains. Terry Francona has gotten his team into the playoffs, winning the division for the first time since '07. That'll miss inside. 3-2. Now Fulmer's full count pitch. Fouled away. Started this game with a little bit of a light rain. It apparently has moved out now, but it's still a very cool evening. Not much of a breeze. Tigers and Indians have 2 more. Then the Tigers wrap it up in Atlanta for the weekend. Here's a ground ball, base hit right field.
We want to go back to the first couple innings last night. Let's look. Remember the pickoff move by Justin Verlander hits Miggy in the kneecap, stays in the game, and was obviously limping. Then tonight, unable to go after the throw, and then he gets the ball off the wall, watches a little bit, but that's just what you're going to do when you think you hit a home run. And now comes up just a little bit short, not running quite as well as he normally would. That's the price you got to pay sometimes for playing the game every day, and you see him grabbing that knee a little bit. Looks to be bothering a little bit tonight.
And that ball hit the wall, came right back to Naquin, who then fired to the shortstop covering. Crisp little looper into shallow right center field. Maben coming on, and back to first goes Chisenhall. 1 out here in the second. By the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day.
Michael Fulmer up to 30 pitches already tonight. 19 of them strikes, and you see 11 balls. This Cleveland lineup's a little different than what we saw last night.
I would say so. And right now Tyler Naquin stands in, playing in center field tonight. 294 hitter. Fulmer taking a page out of Verlander's book, attacking with the letter high fastball, but Naquin laid off.
Justin Verlander has exceptional control of that pitch, right across the top and both sides of the dish. Fulmer not as efficient trying to do the same.
He's up there again. This time he got the call. Naquin didn't like it.
This umpiring crew has been very consistent in calling the ball right at the top of the zone or a little above it. Everybody should know they're in their 3rd game. But you'd want to take that early in the count if you were not a high ball hitter.
Way high and outside. It seems that if you're a pitcher that has a little bit of movement on your fastball and you are close enough, that can be a very effective pitch at the top of the strike zone.
Yeah, we call that finish. Like you say, it jumps at you. Say a little bit of movement on it, makes it tougher to center. Back when umpires had, remember the big bubble,
the
chest
balloon
protector,
yeah.
the big bubbles, they called a high one all the time. But then they got rid of that, and there was more low ball, and now there's been a directive to call the zone as it's defined.
On the outer edge, 2-2, and again Naquin disagreed. Perez waiting on deck. He had a big game in the opener. One of the big reasons why the Indians won that first game and eventually clinched the Central with their victory. Fouled away again as Fulmer stayed up. This time Naquin able to catch up with it.
Michael Fulmer there with his slide step. mixing it up, lifting his leg about 1.3 seconds average when he lifts that front leg up. When he slide steps, he does not raise that leg as much. He's down about 1.1 seconds. So he's trying to mix up his cadence.
Toward left field, slicing away from Upton. Justin is on the move, but it's going to head back into the seats.
And it seems like when he's slide stepping that he's throwing the ball better. He has better location than when he's lifting the leg.
Fulmer this year has been really good against left-handed hitters. They're batting just .213 against him, which I guess in some ways shows the progression of that changeup that he mastered early in the season, and it became a pretty good weapon.
I think he's cringing when that ball's coming over there right now. Take one off the kneecap. Probably a little tender, it looks like, tonight. Your first baseman, you got to catch the ball, and then you got to get off there and get in position after he delivers the pitch.
Didn't get the call there, missing high, 3-2.
You take a look at this last pitch right here out of the motion. You watch the leg. He's trying to be quick, but not too quick. Right? I think he lifts right here. See how high it's lifted? In the slide step, he just goes straight to the, instead of lifting that knee, he goes straight to the mound. We'll catch one for you.
Chopper over the head of Cabrera into right field. Chisenhall is on his way to third. He is in there standing up, and the Indians now have runners at first and third.
It's a bad break. Actually made a good pitch. Got a ball hit right in front of the plate. Bounced right over Miggy's head. And you're going to see Miggy right here after he jumps. He's going to be limping. It's not feeling good, but he's got to tough it out. Tigers need him in the lineup. That's not a bad job, not a bad pitch, but an unfortunate result.
So here is Perez, the number 9 hitter, who homered in the first game of the series. Batting just .184.
Got to go for the strikeout, double play here.
Strike called on the outer edge.
Looks like Perez standing way off the plate, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does. And aside from that home run, he also had an RBI single in game 1, so he was not an easy out of that 9 spot.
Raised his average about 30 points, I think, that game. Looks like he's way off the plate.
Here's an update now from Toronto. Get you caught up in that game now. The Blue Jays up 2-0. Mickey York shortly will show you how that happened. They're in the top of the 3rd at Rogers Center. And again, the Tigers, at least for tonight and tomorrow, continue to be Blue Jays fans. In there, a strike called, 1-2 on Perez. Pair of singles in the inning for the Indians, one by Chisenhall and one by Naquin. Rajai Davis on deck. Fouled away.
Take a look at the wild card standings as we stand going into the game tonight. Tigers only 1 back. Seattle a game and a half because they've already won. Houston lost, so they stay at 3 back. Yankees at 4. As the scores come in, we'll keep them updated for you. We want to see that number 1 turn to a line. 0, none back.
Outside, did not offer. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There are so many possibilities going forward as far as that wild card is concerned.
There is.
I mean, the possibility of a tie exists as well, in which a tie-breaking game would be played Monday, then the wild card game Tuesday. Ooh, good block there by McCann.
Now we showed the high leg kick. Now let's take a look at the slide step. Watch, this knee will not come up. The front knee, this right here, that's the slide step. He just keeps it low, delivers it right to the home plate. Those are the two cadence pitches that Michael Fulmer uses to keep those Indians from trying to think about stealing on him. However, they will have a runner in motion here, I believe.
With one out, 3-2 count. There he goes. And a check swing went around. Throw to second. He's not in time. Ooh, they nearly had to strike him out, throw him out.
Well, McCann had to wait and make sure that he caught it. Tried to sell it. He just comes up and blocks the umpire on that. He doesn't probably get the call. The Indians very aggressive in 3-1, 3-2 counts. I think they've went every time in this series on those counts. Got their runners in motion. Good strikeout there by Fulmer.
6 steals now for Naquin. 2 men in scoring position for Davis.
With Davis bunt here with second, third, and 2 out.
This is an area where the Tigers have really struggled, especially on this homestand, allowing 2 out runs. They gave up another 2 out run in the first tonight. Drilled towards center field. Maven is on the move. He's going to get there, and not this time. That'll take care of the Indians here in the second. Right now, as we go to the bottom of the second, you see the wild card situation. Tigers down by 1 behind the Orioles. And of course, the Central Division has been settled. So Tigers right now have to concentrate on that wild card. Here's Martinez. Victor looks at a strike to get things rolling here in the bottom of the second. 292 for Victor, 27 home runs. They play the shift. Kipnis way back in the short right field area. There's a bouncing ball to Kipnis. And Victor's out of there, 1 gone.
Right into the teeth of the shift right there. Yesterday we saw them not shift him. Had the bases loaded, I believe. But the batting average is way down when hitting into the shift. That's why you see it all the time. The data suggests that that's the way it's going to go. And overall, that's what happens.
You know, we've talked about this a little bit before, and you would expect a major league player to make the play regardless, but that throw from short right field for a second baseman is one that they really in the past haven't been used to making. So that's been kind of an adjustment for those types of plays.
Guys playing out of position, you get a guy on base especially. See a lot of plays that don't get executed because of this shift.
J.D. Martinez bends away from a ball inside and high. 1-1.
Just looking Cabrera, Martinez, Upton, Castellanos, McCann, Iglesias. That's just lengthened out a little bit. Guys that can do damage. You have the table setters in Kinsler and Maben, and the big boppers in the middle.
1-2 on J.D. Talking about all the long balls that have been hit this year, the home run numbers are certainly up all across the game. These are two teams that can hit a few, and as Brad said before the game today, let's hope our guys hit more than their guys. They certainly have a lot of length in the lineup now. Little tapper back up the middle, tough play, Lindor, and he got him at first base. Man, can he make some plays? Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Kroger. Been a rainy kind of night at the ballpark. The rain was falling at the start of this ball game tonight. Not very heavy rain. There's a Bender that dives in for strike one to Justin Upton.
Nice out. Really nice.
It really is. I mean, I love September weather. Game time temp was in the low 60s.
59 now.
It's plummeting. There's a ball outside, 1-1.
Plummeting.
You know, 59 we will gladly take in October when the Tigers are playing postseason baseball here.
I agree.
1-1 on Justin Upton. Swing and a miss.
Pretty good speed pitch right here. Well, this is Lindor. JD thought he had a hit, but Lindor fired to his left. How about the way he threw it on going to his left? Infielders are really good at understanding how to get rid of the ball accurately. When you're going that way, you have to kind of fade the ball. You start it and it tails when you're throwing from that arm slot right there. If you're going the other way, you got to make sure you get on top.
One and two on Upton, who hit a monstrous home run last night, a majestic shot to left field. It's a 3-run homer, which just continues his torrid September pace. Just off the plate, McAllister was a step back to the dugout.
That's a good eye right there. Ball is off.
There's Castellanos on deck. And again, he stayed away. This time, Jay Up again lays off 3-2.
Well, Jay Up's had a good September. 11 home runs, 26 RBI. You get up over 25 in a month, it's pretty good. 30 exceptional.
And he lost him, ball 4. 2-out walk for Upton. First walk of the game for McAllister. Tickets for potential wild card and American League Division Series games at Comerica are on sale now. Tickets sold exclusively at Tigers.com. So log on, check it out, get your tickets now for postseason.
We have to keep an eye on this weather over here. It's like some moisture in the air.
We're fine.
We have to play through it. Yeah, we are fine, no question.
Here's Castellanos. Nick at 288, missed about 7 weeks. And they spin one up there, missing outside 1-0.
So if I was Nick, pretty much all fastballs, as I talked about in the scouting report when we came on here tonight. Occasional curveball, but when you're ahead in the count, you can pretty much sell out. Look area, and if it's there, clobber it.
High fly ball right field. It'll be playable for Chisenhall. That'll end the inning. No runs, a walk, and 1 man left. Player, it's Michael Fulmer, who could be the first American League rookie to win the ERA title since Mark Fidrich did it back in 1976.
Well, if you look at him, I mean, what he's accomplished, 6th rookie with 25+ starts, sub-3 ERA in the last 40 seasons. More WAR than each of the last 8 pitchers to win American League Rookie of the Year. That's doing something, isn't it?
It really is, and it's been a marvelous season for not only Fulmer, but really Boyd and Norris, and the 3 young guns have done their best to keep the Tigers in this thing. Jason Kipnis starts it off as we go to the top of the 3rd.
Pitch count's a little high tonight, 46 through 2. Like to see him have a quick inning right here.
2, 3, and 4 coming up. Kipnis, Lindor, and Santana. Indians got a run on the 2-out RBI double by Santana in the 1st. That'll back him out of there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kipnis lines one to right field. That ball is going to get down and go to the wall. Extra bases for Kipnis, who will cruise into second with a leadoff double here in the 3rd.
So Kipnis, what guy just stays back. He doesn't lunge at all. This ball's, I believe, on the inside part of the plate. Just brings his hands in, directs the barrel to it. And JD does a pretty good job of getting over there. You don't want this to turn into a leadoff triple. And they hold him at second.
Second double in the series and 39th of the year now for Kipnis. Here's Lindor.
He's going to try and get him over. You know that. The Indians play good, solid baseball. Probably going to pull it to the right side. Trying to get Kipnis to advance.
Lindor executed a sacrifice in the 1st game, setting up a run for the Indians. Tribe now with 4 hits so far in this game. Fouled straight back, 0-1.
50th pitch right there. 32 strikes, 64%. It's a lot of pitches so far early in the game. Struggled a little bit with his location, and give the Indians a little credit for putting a lot of pressure on him. Both innings they've had people on base, making Michael Fulmer make a pitch.
That'll get back into the seats. 0-2 now on Lindor. Lindor came into this game batting .307 against right-handed pitching. Leads the Indians in hits. Another marvelous season for the young shortstop. Although he has struggled down the stretch here, the Indians would like to see him get going here heading into the postseason. He'll be a key for them.
Is a switch hitter better against a right-hander?
See, there's that fastball again, Gibby, where you've got to make it at least somewhat close for the hitter to offer.
That came out just high all the way. You're not just going to take it.
1-2.
Well, Michael's in uncharted territory right now. He's at 170 innings on the year between AAA and the major leagues.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, a total of 124 2/3 innings for Fulmer. He had a few innings in the minor leagues this year before getting to the major league level. Low ball 3. Indians got him for a walk and a 2-out double in the first to score a run. Now a leadoff 2-bagger here in the third.
Sure.
Michael trying to navigate through the middle of the lineup. Here's the 3-2. Yeah, he walked in, ball 4. Second walk now for Fulmer. We check in with Justin White.
Hey Mario, tonight we are seeing 2 of the top contenders for American League Rookie of the Year in Michael Fulmer of the Tigers and Tyler Naquin of the Cleveland Indians. Now earlier today I asked Brad Ausmus about who he thinks should win Rookie of the Year in the American League, and perhaps not surprisingly he said it's his guy, Michael Fulmer. Ausmus saying he's been here all year and he's 6 1/3 innings away from qualifying to be the American League leader in ERA. Terry Francona, not surprisingly, had the backing of his guy, Tyler Naquin. And Mario and Gibby, there's also Gary Sanchez in what he has done in New York, but in a much smaller sample size than Fulmer and Naquin.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, J-Dub, and whether or not you really need to look at Sanchez's numbers as a whole here. He hadn't really played or been at the big league level. Now, there's 2 ways Gibby are thinking about that. Had he been here all year, who knows what his numbers would have been, but had he been here all year, would he be wearing down at this point, too? So it's kind of hard to tell.
Well, if he's here all year and has the numbers he has, it's still pretty good for a Rookie of the Year. But
No question.
I think the length of what somebody does it is important, and this is smart to get Blaine Hardy up. He's the lefty. You're going to go against this left-handed hitting lineup of the Indians. Michael Fulmer has been struggling. His pitch count is high, and they know that if they went the conventional 25-30% over the 124 last year, it put him in about 161 innings. So he's up over that already starting the game. He's about 175, 173 right now. He's just struggling. A lot of pressure. Every pitch is high leverage. So you want to keep a good eye on Michael Fulmer. Don't want to hurt him. Don't want to extend him. Make him do something that would be uncomfortable for the organization's future.
Santana had a rip and fouled it straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-base hit off the wall in right field in his first at bat. Right center field knocked it a run.
Double play sure would be nice here. Throwing the ball mostly up in the zone.
And he stayed up again. Santana laid off. Waiting on deck, Ramirez. Another good hitter with men in scoring position. If he can get the ball down, Santana, good double play candidate, 18 of them this year.
Fulmer does have a ground ball rate a little over league average, so get that double play.
Darting low, 3-1 now on Santana. Check it. A strike, 2-2.
I don't think you want to throw him the changeup here. Remember, he hit that one off the wall in his first at bat.
That's outside, down the count. Phil's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
One of the things you look for from a young pitcher like this who's had his innings extended a bit is the velocity. Still around 94 miles an hour. You see that drop, that's a real telltale sign.
That is 5 3-2 counts already for Fulmer in this game.
Seems like he's laboring a little bit in between pitches, not moving as quickly as he normally does. The pace at which he delivers the ball.
Now the 3-2. And he walked him, ball 4. That is going to load the bases.
There's Santana, what a good eye. He's got that 370 lifetime on base percentage for a reason. Pretty good eyes laying off that. Here's our high speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. 95 the high for Fulmer, low of 84.
Santana will take his walks. He's 3rd in the league, and he's just loaded the bases now for Ramirez. He popped him up. Ooh, this will help. Castellanos, infield fly rule, 1 gone.
Who wanted that, huh? Isn't that amazing how it looked like it was going to be out of play almost off the bat, but that backspin on it takes it all the way to Nick. Good first pitch swing right there. Gets the out.
Now Chisenhall. Kipnis remains at 3rd. And Lindor and Santana also on the bases. Chisenhall takes ball 1 inside.
Well, Blaine Hardy is ready.
You got Coco Crisp, who is waiting on deck. Switch hitter, then a left-handed batter in Naquin. Sliced out of play, 1 ball and 1 strike. Fulmer trying to wiggle out of a big-time jam here. They loaded the bases with nobody out. Michael was able to strand a couple of runners in the 2nd, but a lot of stress early in this game for the Tigers right-hander. Little pop-up, 3rd base side. It is slicing away. Iglesias' long run can't get there.
Quinn got hold of that one.
And anytime you get Iglesias on a dead sprint, you got to believe he has a chance.
Yeah, he went hard all the way. Had to slide because he was coming up on the wall. Here comes the rain.
Raindrops will scatter the crowd now as it begins to fall here at Comerica.
On your head?
Nope, we're covered. Who did that song?
I don't know, but you want to sing it?
No, I don't.
Come on, do it.
I'm not going to do it.
On.
You can egg me on all you want.
Jeez. Let's get a rally going. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
High pop up.
Oh, look at that.
This one down the first baseline. Kinsler fighting the raindrops and makes the catch. And the runners will hold. 2 gone.
Well, I tell you, that's not an easy catch. The raindrops are coming down into your eyeballs. The wind's blowing it. I don't know if Miggy didn't hear Ian But at the end, it looked like he thought he's going to. These are pretty good raindrops. Mr. Trammell always says the middle infielders are the highly skilled. You always let them have it. Do you believe that?
Well, I think that for the most part, they're probably a little more athletic than the corner infielders, who tend to be a little bit bigger and provide more power. If Tram says it, it's true.
No, every time he gets a chance, he makes everybody know that the middle infielders are the most skilled. I asked him last week, well, why are the outfielders behind them to back them up? They're so skilled.
That's
they need
a good point.
help.
Crisp is the batter now with 2 outs. Ground ball to second base should get him out of the jam. Oh, what a job by Fulmer. He leaves the bases loaded. No runs, couple of walks and a double, 3 men left. This might happen at some point tonight. Tarp is on the field. Rain delay in the bottom of the third here at Comerica Park with the Indians on top 1-0. We'll be back with more. We will have baseball once again tonight. A rain delay with the Tigers trailing the Indians 1-0. We're going to the bottom of the third. James McCann will be getting things started, and the Indians have a new pitcher now in a wall side windows pitching change. It's Cody Anderson.
Well, Zach McAllister did a heck of a job for Cleveland. Cody Anderson comes on now, the second of many bullpen arms that Terry Francona plans to use. 2-5 on the year with the 6.34 ERA. Should be hittable for the Tigers.
It'll be McCann, Iglesias, and Kinsler here in the Tigers' third. And here we go. Play resumes at the ballpark with ball 1 to James. McCann batting .221. He has 12 home runs this year with 47 driven in. Modest 3-game hitting streak. The 1-0 is lined to left field. That ball is hooking, gunning it down. It'll go to the wall, extra bases. McCann is on his way to second, and it's a stand-up double.
That a boy. Come out hacking. A little rain delay. Kept himself loose. Got a good pitch out over the middle of the plate. Puts the barrel on it. Little stand-up double piece. Raj has to pick it up and just lob it in. So the Tigers looking to get even here in this game right away.
45-minute rain delay officially here tonight, and the Tigers waste little time in getting the tying run in scoring position. Here's Jose Iglesias. McAllister went the first 2 innings, allowing just a single and a walk, and he had 1 strikeout. They're pinching at the corners against Iglesias. No sign of bunt. He looks at a ball inside.
Tigers trail 1-0. Out hit 4 hits to 2. Cleveland's got 4. Tigers got 2. Tigers do have 1 error. They've been playing really good ball. Has not been making many errors. Iglesias looking to advance McCann.
Strike called. 1-1. Cody Anderson has been up and down a lot this year between AAA and the big leagues. His mark in AAA, they were hitting just .203 against him with runners on base, so he was able to dial it up down at AAA. A little bit outside, and the count goes to 2-1. Anderson out of Quincy, California, lives in Nevada now.
Indians playing in very shallow, even the middle infielders. It's almost like it's double play depth.
Line drive, fair ball down the left field line. This will get a run in.
Oh, nice.
McCann will score, and Iglesias will cruise into second as the ball lands in a puddle. And just like that, 2 batters after the resumption of this game, it's tied.
Well, they had the infield kind of in. Iglesias makes no mistake about hitting a rocket right down the line right here. Bounces a 1-hopper into the puddle. 2-hop 3.
Splash.
Don't worry, the outfielders can handle it. They just pick it up and learn how to throw the wet ball.
25 doubles this year for Iglesias. Big RBI, 31 on the season.
Good statement coming out of that 45-minute rain delay.
Top of the order now, Ian Kinsler.
Get him over.
High, towering drive into left. Way back. And it is gone. The Tigers have the lead on a 2-run shot by Ian Kinsler. That didn't take long.
Boy, really, those are loud sounds. 3 in a row. McCann first with the double, Iglesias with the double, and Kinsler with the big 2-run home run. The Tigers lead 3-1.
Ian got hold of that one. His 27th of the year.
No doubt about that one, was there?
None. So Kinsler has his 6th hit in this series. 3-1 Tigers, and a strike called on Cameron Maben.
Could not solve Zach McAllister, but they certainly have it. Cody Anderson.
Well, the Tigers certainly have not come out of the rain delay sleepy. They are swinging the bats. Double homer.
They got looser.
The 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike on Maben. Michael Fulmer has been warming up in the Tigers pen, so it appears he's going to come back. There's a foul back out of play.
Yeah, when you have a rain delay, I put my stopwatch right around 45 minutes. It's kind of the general rule of thumb. Anything over 45 minutes, you don't want to let a youngster go out there for sure. A veteran guy who's done it before, maybe. The Tigers apparently are comfortable with Michael Fulmer going out. You know, he wants to take the ball.
Jeff Manship warming up quickly now in the Cleveland bullpen. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Maben is out of there.
A changeup. You can see the grip in his gloves.
That'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Miguel Cabrera against the Indians, and look at some of the season numbers. He has really picked up the pace.
Well, first 13 games, a 190 average, 8 for 12, 750 clip. Is that the past 4 games?
Yes, last 4 games against the Indians. Cabrera skies this one toward right field, slicing toward the corner. Chisenhall out of real estate.
Well, we watched Miggy limping around tonight from that ball he took off the kneecap last night. You go in like that, you try and stay loose. You have a rain delay, it's going to stiffen up on you a little bit, so he's going to have to deal with that.
Cabrera hit a ball off the top of the right field wall back in the first inning. Thought it was going to be a home run, was eventually thrown out, trying to stretch what was a single into a double. The 1-1. 1-2 now on Cabrera. Tigers really could not do a whole lot against McAllister. He looked good, but did not answer the bell following the rain delay. And Anderson coming out of the bullpen.
McAllister, 2 innings, 1 walk and a strikeout, 1 hit.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Cabrera is gone, 2 away.
That pitch has fooled Maben and now Miggy. Pretty good deception. See, it's a split finger. Turns it over. Must look like the fastball, but it's not.
Here is Victor Martinez. Shift is on against Victor, who bounced one right into the shift for a 4-3 ground out his first time up. Ball 1 low and away. 3-1. Tigers have the lead. They jump on Anderson with 2 doubles and a homer.
Yeah, all the hits, McCann, Iglesias, and Kinsler all hit the fastball. Anderson now going to the split finger change.
And that one dives low. 2 balls and no strikes. Victor right now trying to extend a 7-game hitting streak. Fulmer getting set to retake the mound. Swing and a miss.
Showing a lot of those changes.
Tigers on this homestand are batting .355 coming into this game. Here's the 2-1. The high heat, 95 from the right-hander Anderson.
Now he's throwing that changeup. That heater's looking a lot faster, isn't it?
Jumps on you. Perez flashing signs. Here comes another. Nope.
Change.
Out in front, popped it up foul, back out of play. 2-2. Well, Fulton, meanwhile, trying to keep warm, keep loose, getting ready to go back out there. Did a great job. They had the bases loaded, nobody out in the top of the third. He stranded all three.
Anderson throws that changeup about 27% of the time.
Here's the 2-2 outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three runs on 4 Tigers hits, a run on 4 hits for the Indians. Now the 3-2 offering. Popped him up. Who wants it? Santana coming in from first. Perez, now Santana.
Ooh, they rattled around in there.
Tricky, but he made the play. Tigers jump into the lead. They scored 3-2 on one big swing of the bat by Kinsler. 3-1 Tigers.
America Bank game summary. Michael Fulmer threw 3 innings, 4 hits given up, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Struggled a bit, but his battle got out of a jam in the 3rd inning when the Indians had the bases loaded, nobody out. Got Jose Ramirez and the pop out to third base Nick Castellanos. Chisenhall, the pop out to Kinsler, and Coco Chris grounds out to the end of the inning. So he's been battling in 45-minute wait, and he's back on the rubber. Here's his line: 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts and 3 walks.
Needs 3 1/3 more innings to qualify for the ERA title. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ball high to Naquin. Indians have stranded 6 already in this game. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third. Now the 1-1. Naquin shoots a ground ball into right field, a base hit.
Naquin loves the ball down in the zone. He hits it hard every time. This ball is just a fastball down out over the plate. Gets himself a base hit.
He is 2 for 2 in the game now. There's more action quickly in the Tigers' pen. Hardy the lefty, Shane Green warming up as the righty.
When you have a rain delay, I said it before, about 45 minutes is the max you want to go. So Michael Fulmer is right there. I think he struggled a bit tonight, so I don't think you're going to give him much rope beyond what you already have.
Here's a bunt. It'll go foul down the third baseline. There are so many things, obviously, that kind of play into the equation. We talked about winning the ERA title, and Fulmer also trying to win the Rookie of the Year, and the Tigers trying to win a game they have to win because of the pennant stretch. The innings issue, of course, as well for Fulmer.
Yeah, I think the innings issue wins out the Rookie of the Year and the ERA title, or it'd be nice, but I would not jeopardize this young kid's arm at all. He would be pretty much done for me.
Ooh. Inside and high, 1-1. Rain starting to fall again here at the ballpark. It quieted down. They got enough time to take the water off the tarp, get the tarp off the field, but now it's starting to rain again. It's going to be one of those nights.
Got a lot of advice about that song I was singing too, the raindrops thing.
BJ Thomas.
Yeah.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. 2 balls, 1 strike.
This is going to be, I'm just looking at the radar, it's going to be some, looks like a constant rain. There's some heavy stuff to the south of us. Just stay down there.
Now the 2-1. Swing and a miss, and a big rip there by Perez.
75 pitches for Michael Fulmer, 44 strikes.
Rajai Davis waiting on deck. Little chopper slowly left side of the infield. Castellanos, his only play is to first, and they'll record the out there. Naquin to second. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Michael Fulmer about 58% strikes right now. Remember, we read it off earlier. He was almost 70.
Davis 0 for 2, fly out, strikeout. Line drive to left center field, base hit out of the reach of Iglesias. They're going to try and score the run. Upton will bring it back in. He'll fire it in his second, and it's an RBI single for Rajai Davis to make it 3-2.
The second baseman, Jason Gibbons.
Indians can hit, man. Here comes Brad.
Yeah, you got to get him.
Well, Brad tried to get him as many innings as possible to get him to that qualification for the ERA title, but looks like Michael coming out of the game here.
It's the right thing to do.
And Brad will take the baseball. That's going to be it for Fulmer. It'll be a wall side windows pitching change. Blaine Hardy coming in, and we'll be back. Blaine Hardy is the new Tigers pitcher. The left-hander takes over for Fulmer.
21st game. See, he's got an ERA of 3.75.
He's facing Kipnis. An RBI single by Rajay Davis has made it a 3-2 game.
Jason Kipnis is hitting better against left-handers actually than he is righties. The Tigers bullpen, they got to step up right now.
Kipnis a double and a walk, and he drills one to right field. It is hooking to the corner. It goes into the seats. Man, he got a hold of that one.
Yeah, Kipnis, he just sits right back. He sits on that back foot nice. He doesn't lunge very much. You might want to throw him away. He seems to like the ball on the inside part of the plate. Rajay Davis over there at first. He can run. 42 steals on the year.
It'll sail low and away. 3-1 now on Kipnis.
If you're Brad, you got to keep him going. You have to. You got to find somebody to get some outs.
Davis leads the American League in steals. That'll bounce in and away from the catcher. Davis will move up on the walk to Kipnis.
And to be fair, it's not an easy conditions to come into. You've been sitting. You had a rain delay. It's been raining. Field's wet. The mound's not ideal. Now you got to come in and get outs.
You can see Hardy already going to that little area behind the mound to try and scoop some of the dirt out of his spikes.
Yeah, you got to keep your spikes clean, keep them clear. But you've got to deal with it. There's nothing else to be said. You keep an eye on Rajay Davis down there as well.
Lindor a strikeout and a walk.
Lindor a little better against right-handed pitchers, not as good against lefties.
Tying run at second, go ahead run at first, one gone here in the fourth.
Keep an eye on Rajay Davis. He's just standing down there.
0-2.
Acting like he's not going, but he will try and jump you. Sneak attack. A little inside move here would do good. A good inside move.
Lindor sends that one back out of play, protecting the outside part of the plate. Strikeout and a walk now for Lindor, which makes him 0 for his last 28. Santana waiting on deck. High fly ball, left center field. Ball is hit deep, back to the track, goes up and to make the catch. And the runners retreat. Two outs. See, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. We held our breath a little bit on that last fly ball.
You know, I saw Cam Maben, the way he was approaching it, I thought, man, was that ball gone? But then J-Up was way over in the alley. Rajay and Kipnis, they both went halfway. It's actually the right move with one out. Nobody out, you tag in advance.
Santana looks at ball one.
Blaine Hardy better keep an eye on Rajay Davis. He's thinking about going right now.
Two-out RBI double by Santana in the first.
See Ian Kinsler is over there at second base trying to keep Davis from advancing. Holding him close.
Ooh, he's on front, couldn't pull the trigger. 1-1. Santana's had a pretty good month of September. 17 RBIs this month, 6 long balls. Hardy's 1-1. Now he's one strike away from stranding a couple.
If you're an infielder or an outfielder, the ball comes to you. You have to make sure you take your time and get a grip, because the rain's been on the grass. It's going to pick, the ball is going to pick up the moisture. If you don't make sure you get a good grip on that seam, the ball can go errant.
And I'm sure that rain is slowing down the track as well on the infield.
If you're an infielder, you want to dive and knock the ball down. It comes.
Ground ball to short, and it's by Iglesias into left field. Here comes Davis to score. That's going to tie the ball game. Kipnis goes to third, and it's a 3-3 game.
The ball skipped off the wet grass.
And those 2 runs will be charged to Michael Fulmer.
It's a bullet. I thought Iglesias had a chance. I think he got screened a little bit by Rajai Davis. Didn't get a good read on that ball, and then it just skipped off the wet turf. In the score comes Rajai. We got a tie game.
First and third now for Ramirez. So all 3 runs charged to Fulmer, earned runs. And a strike on the outer edge. 0-1 to Ramirez.
Hit some hard hit balls this inning by the Indians.
Yes, I would agree.
I think it's kind of telling, so you got to keep an eye here. Don't let this go too far. Tigers do have is that Pelfrey up in the bullpen?
The 0-1 pitch. Riding inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's Green.
I just saw tall.
It's fouled back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Tigers need playing hard to get out of it. Cut it off right here.
Well, with the final line now on Michael Fulmer, he will finish with a 3.06 earned run average.
Still pretty good for a rook.
Sure is. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing ball third base side. Castellanos has it. Long throw is in time for the out.
What a play.
And hold on, we'll see. If we want to look at it. He looked out.
Nick had to back up. Looked like he beat him.
He's out. That'll end the inning. However, the Tribe able to tie it up. 3-3 game. All right, Mick, it is 3-3 as we go to the bottom of the fourth, and a big swing and a miss there by J.D. Martinez as we scope out the wild card standings. Man, Toronto has to win. That would give the Tigers a chance to tie up Baltimore if they can win here tonight. But the Indians have come back to tie this game. It is 3-3 as we play here in the bottom of the fourth. There's a ball low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike, and back to the bullpen go the Cleveland Indians. It'll be Jeff Manship.
He's a mainstay. 52nd game for the Indians. ERA of 3.21. He's got plenty of experience. Understand this is a different day to play now. It's going to continue to rain. You know that. It's a little chilly out. This isn't ideal conditions, so your experience is going to play well in a game like this.
It's one of those nights where you just flat out have to grind it out and put the rain and the cold out of your mind. Tigers came out of the rain delay, which was a 45-minute delay, with a bang. 2 doubles and a homer. And a swing and a miss sends J.D. back to the bench, 1 gone. MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on Justin Upton. We talked about how J-Up's season started so slowly and people were just kind of really down on Upton, but look at how he's come back this year.
Well, it's kind of coming back towards his averages, as you see. Look at the home runs. 2008 through 15, he's averaged 23.5. He's at 29 RBI. He's above that as well with 85. Been good down the stretch. They're getting Tigers are getting what they got Jay up for. Stayed healthy in there every day.
On the outer edge, 1-1.
Looking to hit another bomb right now.
Sure would come in handy. Upton walked in the second. Tigers have been out hit 7-4. Right at the knees. Upton thought it was a skosh low. So did the crowd. They are booing from beneath their umbrellas.
Good pitch.
Popped up foul, back out of play. Rain starting to come down a little bit more heavily right now.
Yeah, we're right in the flyway right now.
The flyway?
The flyway. You know what a flyway is?
No.
Well, when you come in an airplane, you're on an airway.
Yeah.
Flyway would be if you were a bird, a goose or a duck. It's just kind of the jet streams going right there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What would you be, a goose or a duck?
I don't know. Here's the 2-2 swing and a miss. Down he goes. I suppose a duck.
Why do you quack?
I've been called a quack several times in my life.
Gotcha.
Hey, looks like Baltimore's got to run back, Gibby.
The top 8. Trying to make a game of it. Mickey York will tell us how shortly.
Big York, man, he is working hard.
He's
at
on
Paul
it.
Sam's
He's on it.
Cutting up highlights and everything. Here's Castellanos. Nick flied out to right field and is only at bat 0 for 1. Big swing there on front. 1 ball and 1 strike on the Tigers' third baseman.
Baltimore, they'd like to hit the home run, so I'm sure somebody hit a home run.
Orioles started their ace tonight, Tillman. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Castellanos missed quite a few games. In fact, he missed 46 games with that broken hand. Had quite a day yesterday, beginning the day in Lakeland Instructional League. Played there, hopped the plane, came to Detroit.
See, he felt that one there. See him shake his hand.
I would imagine this chilly weather, this damp weather, doesn't help. I would also imagine the swings and misses hurt more than any kind of contact. 3-2.
Now, Nick, what he tries to do, he tries to walk out from his hands, so his arms are going to be back, and he wants that front leg to go out. but the hands stay back. So he gets in his stance. He wants this leg to go out. He wants those hands to go back.
Takes it high and draws a walk.
Well, how did Nick get hurt on August 6th? Remember? Nick Castellanos was hot. Gets smoked right there. That was a loud sound, and right on the edge of the outside of the little finger. It's healed right now. He's got quite the bump right there from the calcification. Seems like that's happening more and more. Guys get hit on the hand nowadays, that they're having these little fractures, little hairline fractures. He's healed up and ready to go.
Not a whole lot of padding where he got hit. There's a strike called on McCann. James came out of the rain delay and doubled to get things started in the third. Eventually scored on the Iglesias double. Oh, 0-2. Manship replaced Anderson, who replaced the starter McAllister. Popped him up. Shallow center field. Kipnis backpedaling for the final out. No runs, a walk, one man left. We go to the fifth. He hit a lot of home runs, especially Trumbo, and he's got them on the board.
Yes, he does, and they're going to press right down to the end. They're always within range. Baltimore one game ahead of the Tigers, and Seattle trying to even up with the Tigers. They've won today already, so if the Tigers would lose, they'd be tied with Seattle.
Chisenhall pops it up, foul, getting back into the seats. He's followed by Crispin, then Naquin here in the fifth. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Indians. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Tigers. Shane Green will be coming into this game next. He's been throwing for quite a bit now.
Yeah, he's loose. I'm not sure I understand why he's still throwing. He's ready to go. Pitchers, especially when you get into pressure situations, you tend maybe to throw a little too much. It's easy for me to say. I was never a pitcher, but it just seems like you're ready to go. Say you can throw a couple of pitches if they make the signal for you. You save your bullets.
Did you ever pitch at any level?
Yeah, Little League.
Little League, that's it, huh?
Yeah. Good thing they had helmets.
What'd you feature? Fastball, curveball?
Wildness.
Wildness.
Mitch Williams.
Good thing they had helmets.
Yeah, Mitch Williams.
2-2. Did you make any kids cry?
Not intentionally. You remember Mitch Williams, how wild he was, especially when he first came out?
Nicknamed the Wild Thing. Ooh, that's fouled off the mask of McCann.
We were down in Texas one day. We were way ahead, and they brought in Mitch Williams to get some work-ins. He hadn't thrown in a couple days. So Darrell Evans was due up, and Sparky said, "Darrell, come on, Tommy Brookins, get a bat. He's really wild on those lefties." And of course, Mitch drilled Brookie in the shin.
Nice.
Tommy says, "That's okay. I wasn't important anyway." I wasn't important. That's right. Yeah, I'll pinch you. Anybody else? So you can visualize how wild I was.
Here's the 2-2, and it's rolled foul. Mitch Williams, of course, gave up one of the biggest home runs in World Series history.
Joe Carter.
Yep. Colon, the right-hander, is now heating up. He'll be next for the Indians. Two and two on Lonnie Chisenhall, and he just missed. It was inside. 3-2. Crisp on deck. This has turned into a 9-pitch at bat. Here comes number 9. And he walked him.
Way too many walks tonight.
And it's the leadoff man on here in the 5th. Second walk for Blaine Hardy.
.25 pitches for Blaine already. 15 of them strikes.
5 walks for Tigers pitching.
They had several yesterday or 2 days ago as well. Come on, boys, get your stride.
Coco Crisp has a strike called.
The other thing, it's a left-on left walk. You got Hardy the left-hander and Chisenhall the lefty. You bring lefties in to get the lefties out. That hurts. Double play here, get it.
Crisp had a homer in the first game of the series. He does have power, 13 of them this year. He is 0 for 2 tonight. Fly out, ground out. Now the 0-2.
That's where you got to try and put him away right here. Make good quality pitch.
Popped up. Heading back to the seats. Miggy coming to the railing and out of play.
See that guy down there? A little animated. You stick around and sit in the rain. You
exactly.
Got to find a way to keep yourself warm because you're not going to be dry. Light rain still.
Temps in the 50s now. Two and two on Crisp. Fulmer started, was lifted in the 4th after an RBI single by Davis. That's when Blaine Hardy came on. 2-2 is swung on and missed. Down he goes. One away.
Yeah, got out ahead of him. Finally got him. Let's do a 1-2 count. Look, there's the changeup. See him turn it over. Coco's out front. Ball fading away. Good location, down and away. Good arm speed on that. Sold it well.
Here's Naquin now. He's had 2 singles in this game. He led off the 4th with a base hit and then scored a run.
Hopefully this will be Hardy's last hitter, one way or the other. Double play, or if he just gets Naquin, Perez, the right-hander, due up next. Rajai Davis, the right-hander, due up after him, so you might make the change.
On the outer edge, 0-2. Naquin trying to make sure the raindrops don't fall out in front of the bill of the helmet. That'll sail outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rain has been falling all night. In fact, we started this game in a light rain, eventually had a 45-minute rain delay. Way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Perez waiting on deck. Blaine Hardy now has thrown 35 in relief. Ground ball right at Miggy. He'll spin, go to second one. Here comes the relay. Got him a double play.
What a way to make a pitch.
3-6-3. Tigers turn 2 on a nice spin by Cabrera and a solid feed to second. You're watching Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. Greater coverage of baseball. We've talked about Gary Sanchez and his bid to win the Rookie of the Year along with Michael Fulmer. They are knocking heads for that award. 20th home run in his 51st career game last night.
Yeah, Max Scherzer 275 Ks again. Only active pitcher with multiple 275 K seasons. The new record set for most players with 20 home runs, 20 plus, 105. Previous record 103. Why is that?
Well, there are many different theories. One revolves around the ball, maybe a little bit more tightly wound as Joe Colon comes in now for Cleveland.
I think balls are different right now as well. Guys might be a little stronger, but I think the balls are different. That's why I think you're seeing so many strikes called as well. I think the strike zone is being opened up a little bit. I don't know that there's a mandate, but it seems like as of late it's getting that way.
Iglesias had a double to not get a run his first time up. The ball inside, and the count goes 1-1 on Jose.
You ever pick up some of those game balls down there?
Not recently, no. Do they seem different?
Well, I mean, they've always varied from year to year.
Slice to right field on a line.
Lights.
Oh, he dropped it. Chisenhall lost it, and a break for the Tigers.
Can't believe it hit him in the glove.
He almost caught it.
He pretty much gave up on it, just put his glove out there and said, well, this might be the spot. It's a bad feeling. I think he hit it hard. Look at, you can't see it. That's just one big light. Ooh. You want to see what that looks like, go turn your car on. Well, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Gave you some real bad advice, but it's what it looks like.
They're going to rule that as single. You caught yourself really fast on that. Here's Kinsler now.
Do not go look into the lights.
Just imagine looking in the lights. And Kinsler looks at a strike 0-1. Ian had the home run, a 2-run shot in the third, his 27th of the year. And he has scored 115 runs this season.
That makes you tired.
Good pitch. 0-2.
Most home runs by a second baseman in Tiger history. Lou Whitaker had 28, Kinsler right behind him. Mack at 24. Mack, Dick McCullough, loved the stance.
Best stance ever in baseball.
Got to get some footage of that.
Here's the 0-2. You don't see wacky stances like that a whole lot anymore.
Yeah, who would have a weird stance?
Well, recently, and he doesn't play anymore, he manages now, but Craig Counsell used to have a really wacky stance.
Yep. Yeah, he was kind of McCullough-ish, McCullough-ish.
The 1-2. And then there was Mike Aviles, who played with the Tigers this year, had that whirly bird stance.
Well, I'm sure we'll get some suggestions. Yeah, the guy I played with, John Walkenfuss.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Best hit man player of all time. He put his bat on anything. Almost guaranteed. 98%.
Bouncing ball to short, might be 2. Lindor to second, 1, and the relay is dropped at first base. Santana could not dig out the hop on the backhand. One on, one out.
Ian just hits that water, eats this ground ball up. It looks like it's wet, and Kipnis doesn't have a good grip. Santana cannot hold on to it. You want to watch Colon here. I've noticed when he dips his head quite a bit before he goes home, Mike gets in a little extra jump. Watch him dip his head. He doesn't do it every time, but if he dips it, didn't do it that time, left it up.
Maben is 0 for 2. Fly ball and a strikeout.
Watch that chin. See if he drops it. Oh, left it up again. How about Kyle Yastrzemski?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yaz.
It's a really good one.
Milt May, catcher for Detroit.
How about Joe Morgan? Not much as much his stance, but the arm flapping, which made him different.
The arm cluck.
Yeah, the arm cluck.
Drop that chin.
Ground ball, base hit left field. That'll put 2 Tigers aboard. A single for Maben.
Tell you, that infield and the one hoppers are really skipping. You notice that, how quick they're getting by these guys?
They are shooting through the infield.
Still raining. Tigers are still swinging it. See, there's just one hop and gone. It skipped on the first hop. Now, if I was Kinsler, of course, you want to make sure you get your good secondary. Just about anything to an outfielder, I would send, because the ball is going to be wet. Really hard to throw an accurate throw from the outfield with good velocity. It can be done, but I would pressure. Coco Chris for sure does not have an arm that would be. Well, he's the DH. Nyquin, Raji, and Chisnell, all runnable with conditions like they are now.
Cabrera drives one in the air to right field. Ball hit well. Track. Whoa! It's gone! An opposite field home run for Miguel Cabrera.
That's a good lift there. That's why you stay in the game for your teammates. Get her done.
Three Tigers.
Amazing velo he gets coming off his bat. A line drive to right field. Same approach you always see with Miggy. That ball is out of here.
36th home run of the year for Cabrera. A huge 3-run shot, and the Tigers are up by 3. Victor skies one in the air toward left center field. Davis battling the raindrops.
Well, let's take a look. You guys have seen it before. Ball's down the middle of the plate. Doesn't try and pull it. Lays back, keeps those hands back, and look at it all come together. Look at him drive through that ball. That's a no-doubter.
That ties Hank Greenberg for 3rd in the Tigers list with 306 home runs.
Got that limp going, that knee's sore. You hear how noisy the crowd is right now? For a limited crowd, a lot of the crowd left because of the rain. That's how it always is. These are real fans here, boy. They're going to endure the elements. They'll stick behind the Tigers, and they're very loud.
A 3-run 5th inning for the Tigers. Lots of umbrellas, ponchos, raincoats, doesn't matter. Oh, 0-2 now on Martinez.
Well, Tigers and home runs in Tiger history. You see Miguel tied with Hank Greenberg ahead of Willie. He'd probably run down Norm Cash, don't you think?
Yeah, you can get to Storm and Norman.
The LK line at the top.
The 0-2. The ball at the letters that is spoiled back to the screen by Martinez. JD ground out strikeout. Martinez came into this game with an on-base percentage of .381, among the best. Ooh, he's going to hammer that one to deep left center field. This one has a chance. Nope, it's going to one-hop over the wall, and it's going to be a double for JD.
Where'd that ball go?
Into the bushes.
Boy, I tell you, it's been a warm summer, and the foliage is abundant out there. Tigers are losing them. I wish this one was in the air, but the one hopper. JD struck out his last at bat, but he gets a nice fastball low in the zone. Hammers that up in the hedge. It's like going to look for golf balls. You look for baseballs out there, huh?
Never to be found again. Another double for Martinez. Here is Upton now. Tigers trying to add a few more here.
Pick him up. Going Jay up.
There have been some hard hit balls in this inning.
Tigers have really hit the fastball tonight.
Upton walking a strikeout.
Looking at all the runs, I think they were all on fastballs.
A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
McCann double fastball, Iggy double fastball, and home run by Kinsler fastball. That was in the 3rd. Fielder's choice was a fastball by Kinsler, single by Maybin, a fastball, and the fastball to Miggy. 6 runs off the heater.
We'll take it. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike on Upton. He is the 7th man to bat in the inning. Colon has not been the answer here in the 5th out of the Indians' pen. It was going to be a bullpen night for them regardless, with McAllister starting, but then the rains came. High pop-up.
Got to run. This is going to be in the raindrops.
And Lindor will handle it to retire the side. Not before Miguel Cabrera does what Miguel Cabrera does. Homer the opposite way. 3-run shot.